Hey everybody, just wondering if anybody can tell me what this is. And what it has to do with these. Just a regular old pair of glasses. Well, this is an artificial knee. It's what you get if you get your knee replaced. This goes on the femoral head, so the femur of your right knee, they would cut that off, put this in place. To the VA, these two things are categorized as the same type of medical device. So for this, you need thousands of hours of experience, you need a team of surgeons, and a whole bunch of tools, most of which you can find at Home Depot. And surprisingly, you can find one of them at an auto body shop. It's a dent puller, basically. So, with eyeglasses, the VA will cover your eye exams yearly, but they don't cover glasses unless you meet some very specific criteria. But up in northern New Hampshire, there's a charity, Veterans to Veterans group, that's teamed up with a local eye care facility to get veterans eyeglasses at no out-of-pocket expense. So a little bit about myself. I served in the Massachusetts Army National Guard. I was a member of the 772 Military Police Company. They're now stationed out of Taunton. When I was in, they were in Brockton, but that's a whole nother story. I did that for about a year. So I enlisted at 17, and by the time I was about 18, I realized that sleeping in the mud is not as much fun as it sounds. So I transferred to the active duty Air Force and did that for a couple of years before I got discharged. And I've tried to help the veteran community any way I can. To that end, a couple of years ago, my brother and I founded a 501c3 charity named Veterans to Veterans Group up in Littleton, New Hampshire. And it's focused on helping the local veteran community. So if you served in the military and got your honorable discharge, you would assume that your eye care is covered as a part of that, right? So you get your eye exams and you'd figure, okay, if I need glasses, they're going to cover me. That's partially true. They will cover your eye exams, but they don't cover the glasses unless you meet some very specific conditions. And I'll read those off because they're really kind of specific. If you have a service-connected disability, but it doesn't specify to your eyes, so who knows? You're a former prisoner of war. You were awarded the Purple Heart. For those of you who don't know what the Purple Heart's awarded for, that's given for being wounded in combat. So if you got shot in combat, they'd give you the Purple Heart. Or if any number of other injuries happened. You receive an increased pension based on being permanently housebound and in need of regular aid and assistance. The vision problem are caused by an illness or the treatment of an illness for which you are receiving VA care, such as a stroke, diabetes, multiple sclerosis, or geriatric chronic illness. The vision problem was caused by an injury or the treatment of an injury for which the veteran is receiving VA care for. Nice and vague there. Functional impairment or cognitive impairment that is severe enough to make it hard to perform everyday tasks. And vision and or hearing loss, love how they combine those, that's severe enough to interfere with the ability to take an active role in one's own health care, and eyeglasses will reduce the impact of that impairment. So, according to a study done in England in 2024 by the NIH, which is kind of their version of the CDC / government healthcare, it's just the way they run things over there. Older adults with visual impairments were 2.5 times more likely to get into a car accident because of their diminished visual capacity. So to that end, Veterans to Veterans Group, a local 501c3 founded in 2017 in Littleton, New Hampshire, focused on providing charity work to veterans in that community. They provide direct aid to those who request it and qualify for financial assistance, research, and referrals, as well as just specific requests that the veteran community makes. They also do flag collection. So if you get a damaged flag, you're not allowed to just throw them away. You have to dispose of them correctly. And they offer that service as well. They do non-perishable food items for Thanksgiving and Christmas, so they'll give those out as baskets. They also do unwrapped toy drives for Christmas, specifically so that veterans who are going through a hard time, they have something for their kids, even if they can't afford to give it themselves. But specifically to eyeglasses, when I spoke to Eric McNeil, the president of Veterans Veterans Group, he said this was their number one thing that they've been asked for over the past 5 or 6 years. In Littleton, New Hampshire, in the greater Littleton area, they have this ophthalmology office called Hometown Eye Care. And they were offering a generous 20% discount to eyeglasses. Well, that left the veteran to play the other 80%. Well, if you've never had to buy glasses on your own, the average cost for basic frames and lenses is $350 to $500 for a basic set. And if you need bifocals or some other specialty lens, it can go up to over $700. So Veterans of Veterans Group partnered up with Casella Waste Management, another local company, and they created a grant for helping veterans pay for their glasses. So how it works is the veterans would apply for this grant, and the grant would cover basic frames and prescription lenses, including bifocals, contacts as necessary for work, and any other lenses or frames that are deemed medically necessary. The only thing they don't cover are the add-ons that customer want, like they want transitions. That's not covered. So that leaves it so that the veterans don't have to pay anything out of pocket. The grant has been running for about 5 years now and has dispersed payments of about $35,000 already. A study done in 2020 in March by the Journal of American Medical Association's Ophthalmology found that in 2017 there was more than 93 million Americans at high risk for vision loss. That's roughly a third of the U.S. population. And the likelihood of needing glasses goes up as we get older. So if you happen to know a veteran that needs eyeglasses and they can take a trip to New Hampshire, it might be worth calling Veterans of Veterans Group because they have a method to get you glasses at no out-of-pocket expense if you can't afford it. So don't let the cost of eyeglasses cost you the light of the world. Thank you.